Hi everyone. If you're watching this, it means we've crossed 1,000 subscribers, and I'm genuinely very grateful. Not because of the number itself, but because of the people behind it. Today, I don't want to talk about analytics. I don't want to talk about success. I just want to share a story, the story of how and why I started YouTube. My YouTube journey didn't start with a plan. It started back in college around 2011 or 2012. At first, YouTube was just a place to practice guitar, a way to keep track of my progress. Most of those videos were private. There was no audience, no branding, no pressure. Just a journal to monitor my sound. At the time, I honestly didn't expect God to use any of it. It just felt like random private moments in my practice module. After I graduated college and got married, YouTube became a place where I began sharing promotional videos for gigs in Toronto, performances, and public music work. One early highlight was performing with the legendary saxophone player and my forever mentor, Pat LaBarbera. That video only reached about 1,000 views, but back then, that felt huge. It planted a thought in me, maybe this platform actually matters. Then the world changed. Like many of you, my world changed too. As everything went online, I began posting sermon clips, theological reflections, faith based conversations, while still mixing in music, family videos, daily life moments. My channel still had no unified identity. I was still experimenting, learning, and trying to understand who I really was online. And honestly, this next part was terrifying for me, not because of YouTube, but because of fear, pride, and insecurity. I had to decide, do I stay hidden or do I grow in public? I noticed something very clearly. My guitar videos consistently got more engagement than my sermons. That scared me. As a professional guitarist, I hold myself to a very high standard. I know how many incredible musicians are out there. I was afraid of judgment, criticism, not being good enough. But I reached a turning point where I said, if I want to grow, I have to be willing to be seen and to be criticized and to allow myself to hurt. So I started sharing my jazz guitar videos publicly, especially in Facebook jazz guitar groups. And instead of criticism, I received encouragement. One of the most meaningful people from that season was David Williams, someone who believed in me, prayed for me, and later even became a real life friend. That season taught me something powerful. God often sends confirmation through people you never expected. At the end of 2022, my life entered a very dark season. I was serving in a church environment that was deeply unhealthy for me. There was severe burnout, emotional exhaustion, spiritual confusion, abusive environment. And quietly, I stopped posting entirely. For almost 2 years, even longer, my YouTube channel went silent. Eventually, I was hired as the lead pastor at Hillside Evangelical Missionary Church in Mount Albert, Ontario. And for the first time in years, I experienced a healthy environment, space to heal, freedom to breathe again. I will always be deeply grateful for our Hillside elders and church family who chose to restore rather than to pressure. As my heart slowly healed, something else quietly returned to music. Not as performance, but as medicine. In August 2025, my close friend Andrew Greenwood, an incredible saxophone player from Victoria, BC, invited me to perform with him in Toronto. I recorded those performances, and for the first time in over 2 years, I posted again. It felt like learning how to breathe all over again. As I returned online, and I expected this, And that's probably the reason why I refrained from posting or returning to YouTube for so long. Some people unsubscribed, some voices disappeared. I know a couple of who they are, and honestly, I expected that. But strangely, every time someone left, more people arrived. Whenever I would notice one person unsubscribed, five more new people subscribed in that given week. It was a refreshing moment, and it felt like God was trimming and rebuilding. And then something happened that I still can't explain without smiling. A stranger, someone I had never met, emailed me. He had designed a custom logo for me completely freely. And the logo he created matched something I had imagined for years. And even better, a big shout out to John T. Davis Cunningham. That was the moment I knew God wanted to do something with this channel. On November 22nd, 2025, I stayed up all night preparing a sermon. It was a Saturday night. I had almost no sleep, only 1 hour of sleep, but I still felt peace. And that night, I was compelled to sing to the Lord. I recorded myself saying, "Just let me say how much I love you. Let me speak of your mercy and grace. Just let me live in the shadow of your beauty. Let me see you face to face." The next morning, I preached at my church. Then I went and guest preached at Sharon Village Bible Church with the message Sufficient Grace, coming from 2 Corinthians 12:7-10. A few days later, I shared a short clip from that sermon, and that clip went viral. In 2 weeks, over 40,000 views, over 2,000 likes, almost 300 comments. My subscribers jumped from around 350 to over 900. And now we're past 1,000. I didn't chase this. I simply tried to obey and wait for God's timing. And as the bridge of the song I sang the night before I preached goes, "And the earth will shake as your word goes forth, and the heavens will tremble and fall." I felt like this was literally happening in my life. So here's where I land today. I'm not standing here because everything suddenly worked out. I'm standing here because God kept walking with me when a lot of things didn't make sense. And through it all, God kept making one thing clear to me again and again, that I am loved. Not because I earned it, but because of the blood of Jesus that covers over me. This channel will continue to be music, faith, real stories, joy, and struggle, healing, growth in public. Not perfection, not hype, not performance, just faithful steps forward. If you're here for music, welcome. If you're here for the faith, welcome. If you're here because you're tired, hurt, searching, or rebuilding, you're especially welcome here. Thank you for walking with me. Thank you for believing in this space. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.